Hello peoples, welcome to this video of sorts. I want to share how to draw an eyeball with a pen, and I'm using this one just because I enjoy using it, but you can use any pen. All of these have different effects depending on what you want. So, first step is having any eye shape really. Can be almond, it could be a lemon shaped, as long as it's eye shaped in some way. Second part, you can a lot of ways you can do that. Add an extra uncanny layer, small pupil, lots of flesh around the eye part where you can see a little bit of pink. Really highlight that detail in the flesh area, and also highlighting that has very thick eyelids is another way. Bloodshot eyes, white pupil, all those ways are a good way to ensure you have an uncanny, weird looking eye. An eye is always a good base for a new piece, because depending on where you place it and such, you can have a character also have a character that matches the eye well. Also, if you can duplicate it well, it's quite hard to duplicate our eyes, especially if you are freehanding. And you can't use tricks that would allow you to make both eyes at the same time. Basically, you already have something that a lot of people consider psychopathic here, which is true. A lot of people with eyes like this have psychopathic tendencies, though it can happen just to normal people, of course, for whatever reason. But then you want to get the fleshy piece out a little bit, that feel pronounced. Get this eye too. If you add a little bit of shading too, like dark shading where it's not all of the eyes colored, but it does add a bit of effect. Then you can add veins. And we're back. We're back in black. The more like spidery it gets, the more odd it gets. By understanding how to accentuate other details based off the eye, you can also create more of an effect, such as eyelashes, which I often have like patchy almost throughout the. Then I come back around and make it a little bit thicker, but it always looks a little bit off, which is the effect wanted. And having a little bit more consistency on top, it just, everything that makes it seem slightly more realistic but also wrong will allow you to add into the uncanny effect of having an eyeball. like this. You had some wrinkles under it. Just real light. If you do the wrinkle part wrong, you can sometimes end up with this look like it's a complete separate piece from the rest of it. Whereas if you don't do it all, you don't have the same amount of effect, of course, but it also allows you to flow with the piece more. If you get, I'm not the best at noses, but I've been practicing a little bit. I have to go through another session of just practicing a while. See, that makes it look like the face is turned that way a little bit, so I have to add shading here and actually cover up the eye a little bit. That's why I'm not the best at noses, but then you add eyebrow effects like here. And there you have a pretty uncanny eye, if I'd say so myself. The nose being extremely small compared to the large eye kind of gives it an animalistic look, almost like or possibly a little bit like a gremlin of sorts. Maybe I'll get a scraggly beard and actually little goblin ears. It's not really the greatest positioning. As you can see, I can definitely work on face proportions more. But if you've seen some of my other work, it's not, a lot of it doesn't really depend on face proportion, except at a really small scale. That's actually what made my most recent commission pretty hard to do for me. Like that, they wanted something a little bit more detailed, and I ended up being able to deliver pretty well with this here. Once they put it out, I will be sharing it with all of ye humans. But once you do stuff like this, you can get into a full sphere eyeball sort of thing. It's actually better to start off with a sphere, of course, with art, but sometimes you want to work backwards. You want to start with simple shapes with art in a lot of ways, and it feels counterproductive sometimes because you know your shapes, right? But do you know how to shade them properly? I have a pretty scribbly shading technique, which usually just follows the same line over and over again, like that. And sometimes I'll just go out for the fun of it. You got your sphere, now you add your pupil. I haven't figured out how to do it here very well, but you can add multiple pupils, eyes. With a sphere like this, it's already kind of uncanny, weird. With actual eyeballs, the pupil's going to be somewhat in depth of the eye, as you can see I did here. But it's kind of hard to make look right when you think about it too hard. With these guys, you can add a little bit more pupil. It looks fine. That's just to show you some different areas you could put pupil. And then the contact piece. Have you ever seen like an actual, they kind of look like this in a skull connected to a brain? Which is interesting. And there's the brain, of course, here. Not too far from it. And then you have the skull. And that's basically how you can do a simple, gross eyeball. Thanks for watching this. Say bye to Gerald. And goodbye.